So these are all the little things we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about the sections of a formal agreement, and then we're going to, get back into our contract concepts and try to fold all these things in together. And then now we get to this section 3. This is like where we're starting to really get the guts of the agreement now. The business/actions section. And as you'll see, they are kind of separate. You have your actions sections, and then you have your business. We're going to talk about the actions, which are the most important. And they're, well, I shouldn't say the most important, but they're critical. Then we're going to get into the substantive business sections. They refer to the main business provisions of the contract. You're going to see the rights and the obligations. Here is where you're going to see the money or other value that's going to be exchanged. The term of the agreement. When we say the term, the length, the time period.
Did you two go out for dinner that night?
No.
You had dinner in the room?
Yes.
What happened next?
I asked him if I could use his restroom, and he said yes. It's through through the bedroom. You'll see it. So I excused myself, and I went to the restroom. I was in there for a little bit and came out, and he was sitting, on the edge of the bed when I walked out. Perched.
And when you saw that, what went through your mind?
I realized exactly what I'd gotten myself into. And I was like, ugh. Here we go. And I just felt like maybe it was sort of, I had it coming for making a bad decision for going to someone's room alone. And I just heard the voice and you put yourself in a bad situation and bad things happen. So you deserve this.
And you had sex with him?
Yes.
You were 27, he was 60. Were you physically attracted to him?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Did you want to have sex with him?
No. But I didn't say no. I'm not a victim. I'm not.
It was entirely consensual.
Oh, yes.
Because that is the whole, that's the crux of the agreement. And it's out there now. Everything she just said, none of that's in this agreement. And really, it was just a little snippet, because all I need is the little piece right there where, she says what they did. That's the part that we don't want to get out. As much as it may pain somebody to write that down, you gotta find a way. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So was she paid after, the whole scandal, or was she paid for the sex? Or I guess I could ask that later.
That's a good question.
Okay. I was just really curious.
It never really got done, and I don't think anybody will admit to whether or not, but I think he probably paid her.
Yeah.
But she's not going to admit it, though.
Okay.
But that's really not an issue for here, because at this point now, what we have is, it's starting to get back to them that she's going to talk about it. And so to quelch it, that's where this agreement comes into play. To try to enter into an agreement to keep this issue confidential. Now, I'm sure he paid her a couple, I'm sure he paid her. Because if you look at all of because the other woman, that was his custom, is to just offer him a little something, a little, And so I'm sure he did. We never did get to that issue. Nobody, Anderson Cooper, I don't know why he didn't ask her that. You should have asked her. But he didn't ask her. Anyway, yes, ma'am.
So the crux of why she's able to talk about it, even though they signed a non-disclosure agreement, is because it was vague.
Okay. Now, let me just say this. We're still getting to the issue of whether she could talk about it. I'm saying in the meantime, because this is still in litigation, I am saying, yes, because there was the risk was not controlled enough for her to. You'll think it's controlled enough because it's $1 million per violation, but she thinks she has a little bit of wiggle room right there. See, because it's not necessarily. Obviously, there's some wiggle room because if I'm CBS's attorney, I'm saying to this, don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But there's a little bit of wiggle room there for everybody to weigh the benefit for CBS, because it blew up. Everybody was watching to see what she was going to say. And it doesn't, there's a gap there. It just is like confidential information. Well, what confidential information? Section 3, action sections. Okay, and this is just how I would do it. But see me, I would just get my little agreement out and I would just start sketching out. I put my little title on it. I put my section 1, my introductory provisions, and I'll go down to my definitions. I start, dropping a few pieces in there. And then I'm going to come to my section 3. Just to get myself started, I'm going to go into my action. We're going to our business/action sections. You want to do your actions first. Okay. Our first provision, what our book calls that subject matter performance provision. It is a covenant. That magic word that we talked about earlier. So it kind of gets you going. Okay, so when people start saying, okay, where do I put this? Where do I put that? Okay, here you go. Gives you a little covenant. Your subject matter performance provision. The seller promises to sell and the buyer promises to buy. David Dennison promises to give you this money. Peggy Peterson promises not to talk about the sexual event that occurred on such date. The action, the subject matter performance. This is the cat's meow right here. We want to put that right there. What we're agreeing to. All right, another example. In a publishing agreement where the main subject matter of the contract is the publication of a book, the author promises to write the book, and the publisher promises to publish it. Here's our action section. Our first provision is going to be our subject matter performance provision. Now, it can be, as I stated before, it can be like a reciprocal covenant, or it may not necessarily be a reciprocal covenant. One party promising to do something, another party promising to do another thing. It could be just by signing this agreement on the one side. In other words, the words are the performance. But in any respect, you're going to need to have that first provision, your subject matter performance provision. In your book, it gives you a little example of your reciprocal promises or your executory promises or your self-executing provisions. By signing this security agreement, the borrower grants the lender a security interest in the assets.